Something, I don't know if you guys heard of the, there was a Demand a Plan video that came out about a month ago with all of these celebrities saying, you know, Columbine, Aurora, Newtown, it's too much, when is enough, right? And it was basically sponsored by this Mayors Against Gun Violence, or Against Guns, really. What it should be called is Mayors Against the Constitution. But I have a couple of sound clips from some celebrities right there. The longest one is from Tony Bennet, and I just wanted to play it for you and kind of give you my 2 cents on it, and also get some feedback from you guys. So here's the first soundbite from Tony Bennet. This is when he was asked, basically, before the Connecticut shooting, what was his stance on gun ownership in America.
You know, I'm very far out. I'm against violence. I'm against war. We should just care for our children so much. I'm a pacifist. You know, I'm very far out. I'm against violence. I'm against war.
No, we're keeping it.
The average answer is there's always going to be wars. You know, I personally believe that someday the world will become sane and realize the ignorance of war, because life is absolutely a gift. I just finished a book called Life is a Gift, and we're all blessed just to be alive. It's such a great experience, and it's a tragedy that we go through so much tragedy.
All right, he says it's a tragedy that we go through so much tragedy. Well, of course, that's a tragedy.
Yeah, that's
the definition of a tragedy. Is a tragedy.
I hate to burst his bubble, but taking away guns, we're gonna have more tragedy.
Yeah, like, I mean, I agree with him. Life is a gift and stuff, but I disagree with him.
I hate war. I don't support the war we're in right now. Why are we still there? But taking away our guns, you're taking away protection from the law-abiding citizens. Criminals. The bottom point is criminals do not follow laws.
No, they don't, and you know it's just astounding that like somebody that's so against war is like so against like I'm against war too, but I'm not against guns, because like, you know, that's what prevents wars is people having their own means to protect themselves, and like it's perfectly natural to abhor violence, yes, but you know, like abhorring violence doesn't necessarily mean take everybody's gun away. Like you can dislike it and yet like still understand that people need that to prevent like violence from happening, because you know like people that have guns are probably like they're not going to get robbed near as like often as like somebody that, you know,
unless the a website or a newspaper in their area releases a map of their address with where their guns are.
Yeah.
You know, and did you hear about that in New York?
No, I didn't.
There was a newspaper that released a map on their website of all of the registered guns in like 3 counties.
So that should be an invasion of privacy.
So, absolutely. No. And not only that, but there have been reports of firearms now stolen from this map, and it's hard to prove whether the people, the thief knew that the gun was there because of this. But not only that, so you're creating a target of thieves. Now they know where to go get a gun when they want one illegally. But not only that, now people know where there are no guns. So now they know who to target that's just an innocent, that's just going to play victim and just roll over like Tony Bennet and wait 20 minutes for the cops to show up.
You know, I believe that is like that is illegal. I believe to publish like private information like that.
No, not in that case.
Not in that case.
It should be. And there was actually one sheriff of one of the counties who refused to give up the information, saying that he's not going to put his constituency in jeopardy. At risk. You know. I got one more clip here from Tony Bennet. I want to hear what he has to say.
We should just care.
It really isn't in that case.
Freedom of Information Act or whatever.
What the hell? Like, I mean, it makes no sense. You know?
Like to apply for any kind of license, that your name's in the public domain.
Okay.
So,
like even the location.
You're saying guns aren't allowed in my house.
I just believe that.
I just believe that.
Assault weapons, they were invented for war. They shouldn't be on our streets here. It's
invented to prevent war too.
It's the kind of turn that happened to the
and like because most murders are used with assault-grade weapons, right?
Right.
Created tragic things.
Here's the worst part. he's comparing it to Nazi Germany, saying that by us having guns, we're like Nazi Germany.
Except that in our country, the rest of the world is going to really take care of us in a very bad way. We should learn that we're the greatest country because we're all different nationalities and all different religions. And we should show the rest of the world how to behave.
Go ahead.
I just don't. I don't know what he's trying to say. Like it's really ignorant.
He's against violence, like you were, but he's so old and senile that he can't put together an argument, and he does not see the big picture.
No.
He really says that us holding on to our weapons is exactly like something that the Nazis did.
Because all of the Jews
it's the exact opposite. Yeah. What the government is doing of trying to take guns is what the Nazis did.
I saw a movie once where the police and military had guns. I think it was Schindler's List.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, because all of the Jews in Nazi Germany totally had guns to defend themselves while the SS walked into their homes and took them to the camps, right? Because the people that were citizens in Germany were allowed to defend themselves from the tyranny that ended up being the Third Reich. Like the argument that Tony Bennett's making there is completely ignorant, and guns aren't allowed in your house, whatever. Somebody can walk into your house and steal all your stuff. Bring up a van, 6 other people, you're going to take a lot of stuff.
And it's easy for a who I'm sure undoubtedly was a multimillionaire over his career, probably could have afforded security if there was any kind of threat where he would have had armed personnel there at his home outside, But what if he didn't? What would you tell your kid if you have a group of armed people at your door banging, "Let us in, we're coming in"?
Yeah.
"Oh, it's okay, honey, just wait, I called the police, they'll be here eventually." Or, "Alright, I'm going to go take care, I'm going to protect my family."
Yeah, what are you... If somebody's knocking at your door, about to break it down and steal all your stuff, yeah, because you're totally going to call the police. No, you're going to make sure that your family is safe and secure.
Unless you're a millionaire and can afford a panic room and wait there till the police come there. I'm going to have a gun and protect what's mine.
Right.
And a lot of people will say that it's wrong to talk about protecting possessions and valuing your possessions over a human's life.
My life is my possession.
But they're valued.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
not only that, they're putting your... How do you know what somebody's intentions are if they're coming in to steal from you?
They're putting your possessions over your own life. That's what they're doing. They couldn't care less, They're not valuing your life at anything, honestly, it's eye for an eye kind of thing. If you're not going to value my life and you're going to come in and steal all of my stuff, Not even necessarily steal.
Yeah. I'm okay with people who are vandalizing your property being met with lethal force.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously, not just if they push something over, but say, for example, you are a farmer or a rancher or whatever, and somebody comes and cuts your fence, or is going around cutting your fence and letting all your cattle out.
Yeah.
I would be totally okay with somebody shooting at that person.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're threatening my livelihood.
At least a warning shot.
Oh, yeah.
At least one warning shot, and if they don't stop, then...
It's in Texas that if somebody if somebody trespasses upon your property, you can legally shoot them, correct?
Right.
I'm not sure how the law is completely worded.
I know here, my grandma was in a situation when she lived on the outskirts of Grand Island one time, and there was this guy who escaped and was running around, and she couldn't make out who it was for sure, but he was in her ditch and then went up into this barn right on her property. So she got out her shotgun and laid it on the table and then called the police, and when the police got there, she told them where she thought he was hiding. And what the police did was they drove around the barn. They didn't even get out and patrol it on foot. They just drove around the barn, came back to her, and said, "Well, we didn't see anything, but if anything else happens, let us know. Call your neighbors, tell them to lock their doors, lock your door, and if he tries to get in your house or anything, call us." And she's like, "No, I'm going to shoot him if he tries to get in my house." And they're like, no, you can't do that. He has to technically be inside your house to shoot him. And she's like, I won't say the choice words she used, but she's like, "No, I will shoot him." And then the police told her, "Well, at least drag him inside the house if you shoot him."
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
It's crazy that cops will just say specifically, just break the law.
Yeah. Well, because you're tampering with evidence at that point.
Not that it should be a law. I mean, if somebody's trying to break into your house, why give them the chance to get you closer?
Like if somebody's is kicking at my door, they're gonna be and if they're not inside my house, then they'll be met with a bullet because if I hear somebody kicking at my door, I'm gonna grab my gun because what am I gonna do? Other
reminds
than
me
that.
of a case too recently. I think it was in Washington, not Puget Sound, somewhere in the Seattle area. A man was living with a parolee, and the police were coming to find the parolee who lived upstairs or whatever. They came into the homeowner's bedroom in the dark. He went to go turn a light on, and they shot and killed him. He was unarmed. He didn't even have a weapon in that room. He had a rifle locked in a case in another room. And the cops shot him, and they didn't get in any trouble for it. Yeah, I think they were suspended for a little while, but
that's murder.
That is murder to me. If not murder, it's that's at least manslaughter.
Yeah, if you wrongfully kill somebody,
if you're going to be a cop, you need to have Jedi mind control over your business,
right?
Not just I'm scared. He's going for a lamp. I'm going to shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be a police officer if you're going to be that timid.
Trigger happy.
Yeah.
It just seems to me that police are allowed to kill whoever they want and get a slap on the wrist. Yet the moment that we're gonna kill a home invader, it's not that's not okay.
And they want it to just get worse and worse to the point where you decide you don't even have a right to resist against a home invader. Yeah. They want you to just stay there and take it. And it's not going to happen. This country, our spirit is too strong for that. I think there are a lot of weak-minded people out there who just take that stuff, but as a whole, our nation will not stand for that.
Yeah,
I believe that 100%.
Yeah, this whole gun control thing is a mess, and there's no grounds for them to take them away, and there's not enough people that are standing there's enough people standing up and shouting, but it seems that the government won't listen to the people that they should be listening to.
Well, that's because they like to pretend that there's other people shouting louder, saying what they want them people to say.
And that's called the media.
The We the People website, you can start a petition. If you get 25,000 signatures, supposedly they will come out and respond to it. There was a lot of signatures of seceding from the Union. It wasn't until there was millions of signatures that they came out and responded. Anything anti-gun, they'll respond to instantly. Yeah, we hear you, we feel you. Anything pro-gun, they'll ignore. It's ridiculous. So they don't care what the real people have to say because they have usurped the throne of our democracy.
One of my brother's friends, he was just you know what, let the East and West Coast have their own thing, California, Oregon, whatever, and then just let the middle states have their own government because, those people seem a lot more even-headed than, than just awful, I don't know, I just feel we need a new government overall, because it just seems
it's not really working now.
Yeah,
we don't necessarily need a new government. We just need a government that actually does what it's supposed to do, and it's not a bunch of BS. Man.
Why have any government?
Anarchism doesn't work though.
Because of the other governments of the world, possible to organize the.
But you don't think free independent militias could come together if that ever was the case?
There's still going to need to be a centralized authority figure for it.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's like a family. There's going to be one person in charge of your family. The dad's in charge.
Anarchism will never work because
I think there has to be some sort of leadership, an organization, just not a controlling one.
Do you think we need one this big?
No. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Of course not.
It needs to be so much smaller than it is, low percentages of what it is.
How small would be too small, in your opinion?
It would be too small if it was unable to conduct international business with other nations. Because we do still need. I'm against a one world government. I don't think that all Chinese and Americans should instantly be the same countrymen. We have different cultures, we have different beliefs, structures.
You think having the states be their own government would be too small?
I think that's how it's supposed to be. Is that the states are their own government.
That is how it's supposed to be.
But we could group together in moments of defense and then kind of just go back to doing our own thing.
Yeah, like the states themselves should like they should be the governing bodies, and they like,
but yet people within that state still have to follow orders that order all the other states. You think that's right?
Maybe only in times of war, like.
I mean, we still have to follow our state laws, and then we have to follow the federal laws, correct?
Well,
yes.
We only have to follow the federal laws if they're constitutional, according to 11 states, right?
Yeah, but now this stuff's becoming unconstitutional. What laws are more important? Is it more important to follow the federal laws, or more important to stick with our state laws?
It's more important to stick to the laws that are constitutional, because like there's not a whole lot that like I'll say you can really state on that, because if a law's unconstitutional, you shouldn't follow it, because well the law itself is against what the nation is founded upon.
But you'd have to agree that the federal power is a lot more powerful than our state's power, so more people are more scared of breaking federal laws than state laws. So if you're gonna technically not break the law, but it's a federal demand, what do you do in that situation?
Like, in what theoretical...
Run for the hills!
Like, what theoretical situation are you speaking of? Like, are you talking about guns being taken away from the citizens?
Like, Nebraska's trying to keep guns legal in Nebraska, but the federal government is trying to make them illegal.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly content with people, like, keeping their guns where they are, because it's unconstitutional to take away the guns that... like, it's unconstitutional to take away any guns. If you own the gun legally, you should be able to obtain that weapon without like the government coming in and just ripping it out.
But that's why I hate there being two different governments, a state government and a federal government, because they contradict each other.
How it's supposed to work is that they're supposed to, like, the state government, like the states are supposed to govern the sections of land that they are assigned to. And they report to a higher government. Like, the federal government was never, ever intended to be as large as it is.
Right.
Like, what it was intended for was to be universal, like, laws for everybody to follow. And then the states also, like, added their own laws over time. But there was never intended to be, like, federal mandates for, like, gun control or something like that, you know? And there are plenty of state laws that are contradicting federal laws right now, like in Washington and Colorado, where they legalized marijuana recreational use. And but
so how do you go on like that?
Are you talking about the marijuana?
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
I'm personally, like, I don't care if you do it or not. Like, I personally do not, like, I don't partake in it. And
but is it legal or is it illegal?
In that case...
It's both.
Yeah, in that case, if a federal agent does catch you smoking marijuana, you are going to be arrested for possession. But
that's why I loved Montana was talking. I think it was Montana, North Dakota, one of those, Wyoming maybe, talking about a new law where any federal officer trying to enforce gun confiscation laws in that state would be tried for a felony. It's a felony in that state to try to enforce unconstitutional laws.
Yeah.
So while he's arresting you, maybe a state trooper or whatever will be arresting him for trying to arrest you. That'd be cool. And then they're going to call in the National Guard.
The government was never intended to, like, control the citizens that they're trying to do now, and that's the problem, is that people don't understand that like what's happening right now is it's a big
problem. It
tyranny.
goes to what was said earlier about societal decay. Not only is there a lot of garbage out there and people are really losing the value for other humans' lives, but at the same time, people are giving up their responsibility for their own life.
Yeah.
You know, people are being programmed into thinking that when they're threatened, that the correct response to a threat against them is call 911. No, that's not the correct response to a threat against you. The correct response to a threat against you is to match that force with equal force or greater force, which is exactly, again, goes to why, yes, there should be 30 clipped magazines, because a law-abiding citizen who is being attacked by multiple people should be able to legally have greater force than the people who are attacking
They
them.
are going to need that larger clip to deal with, like, the threat that's being presented to them. And like it really does go back to like how like the government and the size of it, because at this point they got their fingers in everything, and they're just trying to control as much as they can, and like the like, and it's tyrannical. That's really all it is. And with the government being like growing more and more every day, it's just, and the forefathers would just look at us just with shame, because it's really turning, like the American government is turning out to not be anywhere close to what it was intended to be.